Alright, so this video is sort of a continuation of a video I made in 2017 after my first year of high school. I mean, even though it's really old and kind of all over the place, I don't think it's too bad of a video, but I do believe it kind of half-assed explaining how SDL School worked. So I will be explaining SDL School again, and my experience as a graduate and a now university student. Also, yes, it has been a really long time since I made a video like this. I would like to apologize for the lack of improvement. I've been out of practice for a while, as the last 3 years I've been focusing primarily on school and work. Although I've dabbled in frame-by-frame animation very little, this is still going to be a slideshow animatic, and I hope you guys understand. Okay, so to start, SDL stands for Self-Directed Learning. Since it seems that self-directed schools are rare enough, I'm unsure if all of them follow the same rules. But basically how my SDL school differed from traditional schooling is that, most significantly, we did not follow schedules. A typical school day would be check in, find a place to sit, work on whatever subject you want until about 11:15, eat lunch with some friends, go back to work until like 2:50, and then go home. Pretty much, you're given a lot of freedom in what you spend the day doing, as some students did work and some did nothing at all. Also, notice how teachers weren't even mentioned. The way you progress is through taking tests, and, well, how do you know what tests to take? Tracking sheets. So these are two of my grade 10 tracking sheets. My grade 11 and 12 ones would have probably been a better example to show you guys, but this was all I could find. So as you can see here, these are the units. Basically, you would need to finish all of them to finish the course. Now, to get test remission, let's use C5 to 6 as an example. You would need to show a teacher a self-evaluation and a mind map to get test remission. Now, the test remissions are these stamps or these signatures, whichever. Basically, you'd bring your tracking sheet to the testing center, and the ladies would check if you have a stamp or a signature before they give you the test. Also, if you can see here, there are suggested completion dates, which I do mention later in the video. So in order to be on track, you would need to hand in this unit or do that test before this date or during that date. Units also weren't always tests, like this one would be an assignment to hand in. Ooh, that's my hair. This one would be a project, so yeah. The courses were pretty much the same and different at the same time. God, I wish I could repress these memories. So, knowing the amount of freedom students have, it's important to note that it was possible to fall behind, which a lot of people did, me included. But in my first year, this didn't prove to be a problem unless you absolutely wanted to graduate in 3 years. Although most people did, there was still a lot of people that aimed to graduate in 4 or 5 years, which was possible. The school was advertised as a place where you could learn at your own pace, which was completely accurate, until we got a new principal. Basically, she made it so that there was no guarantee that anyone could stay for a 4th year, making the whole learning at your own pace thing extremely useless. Because imagine, your first year you decide that it would be better on yourself to take a 4th year of high school. Maybe you have a lot of extracurriculars or being overwhelmed with work isn't the best for your mental health. Then you have this very, very, very nice person, who isn't even an alumni, mind you, tell you that there's a large chance that you have to go to another school for your 4th year. And what is that school? A school that enforces traditional schooling. So the options for you are to either bust ass and do a year of school in 2 months, or have to convert yourself back into traditional schooling. Overall, proving SDL school to be the wrong choice. Like, what the No, this wasn't my experience, but this was widely talked about around the school. At the end of my last video on SDL, I said, SDL schools work for a certain type of people, and I'm probably one of those people. And I mean, like, there was a possibility I could have been right, but the year following was one of the hardest times in my life, emotionally. I was dealing with trauma that I didn't know would become trauma. I focused on things that I shouldn't have, and ultimately f***ed my year over. I only finished grade 11 English and Biology, and grade 11 and 12 Chemistry. This meant in my final, last year, I had to somehow fit grade 11 social studies and math into my already cramped year. But somehow I f***ing did it. Okay, not somehow, but I know how. I half-assed half of my grade 12 math test to get the course done, and did grade 12 social studies in half a month. Now that's learning at your own pace! Shut the f*** up, you still ruined my life. I graduated, which was something I was completely doubting would happen in the few months prior. So, was it safe to say that SDL School could no longer mess with my life? No. No, it really wasn't. I'll start off with saying that my school always attracted people by saying, this will prepare you for university. But, like, I'd just like to ask, like, who the hell said that? There's actually this article on the Alberta website that I found before writing the script. According to this person who went from, I assume, my school to university, SDL developed her skills in planning, so using her class syllabus, it helped her break down the coursework into smaller sections. Now, I actually commend this writer, and I do look up to that, but planning only addresses one part of my problems with this transition. First of all, it's possible someone didn't even develop adequate planning skills. For example, they could have relied heavily on a schedule their advisor made them. With me, honestly, I felt like I didn't really have planning skills. Trying to remember it, the way I determined whether or not I was behind was if I was trying to follow the tracking sheet, taking tests and seeing how behind I was the suggested completion date. That and also taking suggestions from my advisor and, like I mentioned earlier, busting ass and finish a course in 1 month. And that in itself is a hard thing to transition from. Honestly, pacing yourself in university isn't an option. My SDL school, for most courses, had one due date for everything, and that was cutoff. So in university, you can't pull the shit I did, which was slack off for the majority of the year, then do everything in the last couple months. Which I'll say is completely my fault for developing these habits, but I wasn't the only one. I'd say over half of the school developed these habits as well, because Miracle May was a real thing for all of us. So obviously this really affected my first semester. At least for the first month or so, deadlines or test dates were something I really did not look at all. It was almost like procrastination, and yeah, it kind of was. Once I got it in my stupid head that, hey, this is due tomorrow, or you have this test tomorrow, I would be like, oh, shit, yeah, and do all of the studying the day before. Some of you may be like, yeah, I've done that before. I do that all the time. You're dumb, double W. But you have to remember that I was used to going a day, 2, or even a week after quote-unquote deadlines. The other problem that really stuck out to me was transitioning back into lectures. The only part of SDL that was comparable to lectures were our seminars. Now, seminars for the most part were optional. For the ones that were mandatory, they were only an hour long and barely had engagement or didn't really give information that needed to be remembered or noted. They were usually just for discussion. I'm not saying that we didn't have helpful seminars, because we did. And they did resemble normal high school lectures for the most part, but again, they weren't mandatory. So getting back to lectures was a lot of...
I teach calculus, except teach is kind of like a loose term.
How long is this fucking class?
From the textbook.
Wait, no, pay attention. Pay attention.
This is the derivative of that, and I'm not gonna explain how that works. Anyway, so we're
what the fuck is a derivative? How long is this fucking class? So anyways, if you made it this far, thank you. To end off, I'm gonna give you the strongest piece of advice that you might want to follow if you're planning to go into university, or maybe follow in your next few years, but you really want to follow this website. Obviously not sponsored, but this was something I really wished I used in my first semester. I used it when registering for my second semester classes, and let's just say my GPA raised significantly. Good professors, in my opinion, make a good student. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was really fun to make. I surprisingly only took like 2 weeks to get it done, so it was really an experience, I guess. I hope everyone's staying safe in these crazy times. I know I had quite an experience, but I do go back to work tomorrow actually, so that's... As for new videos this summer or maybe anytime soon, it is a possibility. I don't have any ideas right now. I might put out like another gaming video or a collab if I ever get to that. But I do stream on this YouTube channel. So if you ever see me streaming, don't be afraid to hop in and say hi. I'll say hi back at the very least. So yeah, I hope you guys have a great summer. Hopefully we'll be able to live it just like last summer. But yeah, don't do stupid shit. Okay. See you guys.